At 10:03 on Saturday morning, Dana Brooks closed both hands around the key fob to a silver minivan and started crying before the applause was finished. A local camera crew moved closer. Amelia Hart, CEO of Hart Automotive Group, stood beside Dana in a pale blue suit and smiled as she said, "This one is yours. No payment. No catch." Dana covered her mouth. "You don't understand. I start at 5:30. I've been taking 2 buses, and my sister has been doing school drop-off for me." Amelia touched her arm. "Then tomorrow morning gets easier for all of you." 40 feet away, a Navy work shirt came through the service doors at a run. He had taken the van out for the final release drive because the assigned technician had been pulled to another bay. The run had been cleaned until the last hard stop behind the dealership. Then the front end had made one dull clunk. The steering wheel had pulled left in his hands. But Ryan had spent 19 years feeling cars through his palms, the floorboard, the seat, the sound that came a half second before trouble. He had written hold for repeat road test on the inspection screen. When he came back from washing his hands, the hold was gone and the van was already outside. Dana opened the driver's door. Ryan crossed the asphalt. "Ma'am, don't start it." The applause died in pieces. Dana turned with one foot inside. "What?" Ryan reached the door before she could sit down. He put one hand on the upper edge, not touching her, and held out the other. "Please, step away from the van." Service Director Cal Mercer came fast from the rope line. "Ryan, what are you doing?" "It needs another road test and a lift. It already cleared. I put a hold on it. And I reviewed it. The ceremony is live." Ryan looked at Dana. Her face had changed from joy to embarrassment in 10 seconds. "I'm sorry. I need the keys." Dana stared at the fob in her hand. "Is something wrong with it?" Amelia stepped between the camera and Dana as much as she could without making the moment look worse. "Mr. Walker, answer her." Ryan did. "I felt a hard pull under braking and a clunk from the left front. I can't release it until I know why." Cal said, "We inspected the suspension yesterday. Tires are torqued. Alignment is within spec." Amelia's eyes stayed on Ryan. "Can you prove something is wrong with this vehicle?" Ryan swallowed. "Not yet." A murmur went through the crowd. "Then why are you doing this to me?" Ryan had no answer that did not sound cruel. "Because I wouldn't put my daughter in it." Cal reached for the key. "Enough. Give me the fob, Dana." Ryan got there first when Dana, confused, held it between them. He closed his hand around it. Cal's face hardened. "That is company property." "Then put the van back on the lift." Amelia said, "Ryan, give Cal the key. Not while he can hand it back out." Amelia's expression changed. It was no longer embarrassment. It was authority. "You are disrupting a public event, refusing a direct instruction, and frightening a woman who was promised a safe vehicle. Step away." Ryan looked at Dana. Tears stood in her eyes again, but these were different. That morning he had told Lily what he always told her about cars. If Dad says it is safe, she can trust him. He looked back at Amelia. "I can't release it." Amelia held his gaze for 3 seconds. "Then you're done here." The words landed so cleanly the whole lot seemed to go quiet around them. "Effective now? Give Mason the key, collect your tools, and leave the property." Ryan's chest tightened. Rent was due in 12 days. Lily's school field trip payment was still on the refrigerator under a magnet. Dana needed this van. Amelia needed this event not to collapse. Ryan needed this job more than any of them knew. He handed the fob to senior mechanic Mason Reed instead of Cal. "Base 6. Lift first." Mason looked at him like he had lost his mind. Ryan walked toward the service doors while the camera followed for 6 steps before Amelia told the crew to stop. Behind him, Dana said, "So I get nothing?" Ryan nearly turned around. He did not. 30 minutes later, most of the dealership believed a stubborn mechanic had humiliated a working mother over a feeling he could not prove. By Friday, the same service floor would go silent when the woman who fired him explained what that feeling had almost prevented. Ryan's toolbox had never sounded so loud. Mason came over. "You really felt something?" Ryan kept packing. "Yes." A clunk. And a pull. "Once." Ryan stopped. Once was enough to hold it. Mason rubbed the back of his neck. "Hold it, maybe. Not take the keys out of a woman's hand in front of a news camera." Ryan shut a drawer harder than he meant to. "If she drives off, and I'm right, what would you call that?" "I call it bad." "If you're wrong, what do you call what you just did?" "Bad," Ryan said. Mason nodded once. He had expected an argument. "Cal says the van is staying inside until Monday." Good. He also says you're not allowed back for your final check. I figured. Ryan rolled the toolbox toward the rear exit. Mason followed. For what it's worth, I wouldn't have handed it out after that scene either. Ryan almost smiled. That isn't the same as believing me. No, Mason held the door. It isn't. Ryan drove home with the toolbox strapped in the bed of his old pickup. Lily was at the kitchen table with colored pencils spread around a worksheet when he came in. She looked at the clock, then at him. Did you quit? Ryan set his keys down. No, did they quit you? He leaned against the counter. Yeah. Because you yelled? I didn't yell. Because you broke something? No, because somebody broke something? Ryan gave a tired laugh. Maybe. She waited. Lily was good at that. She did not fill silence because adults were uncomfortable. Ryan pulled out the chair across from her. A lady was supposed to get a car today. Free. She needs it for work. I drove it before they gave it to her, and I felt something I didn't like. Like a noise. Like the car didn't behave the way it should. Was it broken? I don't know yet. Lily's eyebrows pinched. Then how did you know? I knew I wasn't ready to call it safe. Lily glanced toward the toolbox visible through the front window. So you stopped her? Yeah. And they quit you? Yeah. She colored one corner of a map green. Did the lady get another car? Ryan's answer stuck. Not today. Lily looked up. That mattered to her more than his firing. She was sad. Very. Did you say sorry? Ryan looked down at his hands. Black grease remained in the lines around his nails even after 2 washings. Not enough. Lily went back to coloring. Ryan sat there a while. On the refrigerator, the school field trip form was held beneath a magnet shaped like a tire. $78. Not a fortune. It looked bigger without a job. Lily finished the green section and said, You always tell me if you say my seed is safe, I can believe you. Ryan nodded. I do. Do they still believe you? The question was so small he nearly missed how hard it hit. I don't know. Lily accepted that answer. Can I still go on the field trip? There it was. Ryan looked at the paper. I'm going to try. She nodded and changed pencils. That evening, Ryan opened his bank app, then the rent portal, then a job board. 3 shops were hiring, all with worse pay, hours, or distance. He began an application. Halfway through, his phone buzzed with a clip from the morning event. Someone had posted the moment he took the key. The caption called him the mechanic who ruined a free car surprise. Comments were already choosing sides. Reckless employee. Hero. Drama queen. Safety first. Ryan watched Dana's face in the clip, not his own. She had been smiling 1 second. The next, she looked exposed and small. He closed the video. The hardest part was not that strangers thought he was wrong. The hardest part was seeing exactly where they had a point. On Monday morning, Ryan was carrying 2 bags of groceries from a discount market when Dana Brooks called his name from across the bus shelter. She stood beneath the plastic roof in scrubs under a tan coat, a lunch bag over one shoulder. You're hard to find, she said. Ryan set the groceries in the pickup bed. I didn't know you were looking. I wasn't sure I was. She folded her arms. They gave me a rental through Wednesday. After that, they say they'll know something. I'm glad they covered it. Dana gave him a flat look. Are you? Because Saturday you looked pretty sure I shouldn't have a car at all. That isn't what I meant. I know what you meant. You thought you were protecting me. Ryan nodded. I did. I missed overtime because the event ran late. My supervisor saw the clip. Half the hospital saw it. My sister sent it to me because she thought it was staged. My boy saw the video before I got home and asked why the mechanic took our car away. I had to tell him I didn't know because nobody had bothered to explain it to me either. Do you know what it feels like to stand there while strangers argue over whether your family deserves a safe car like you aren't even in the conversation? Ryan felt himself stiffen. He was tired, embarrassed, scared about money, and for one ugly second all of that came out wrong. Would you rather I had handed you the keys? Dana went still. Ryan heard the sentence after it was too late. That is not what I said. No, it isn't. Dana's voice dropped. You see? You still think the only choices are you saving me or everybody else failing me. Ryan opened his mouth, then stopped. Dana pointed toward the street. You got to go home feeling brave. I still had to figure out how to get to work. Ryan looked away. You're right. Don't say that just because it ends the argument. He faced her again. I'm sorry. For that sentence too. And for Saturday. I should have stopped the van without turning you into the middle of a fight. But you're not sorry you stopped it. No, Dana shook her head. Then you're only sorry for the part that hurt you. She started toward the shelter. Ryan called after her. Dana. She stopped. If the van comes back clean, I'll tell you I was wrong. To your face. In front of anyone you want. She looked back. And if it doesn't? Ryan swallowed. Then I still owe you an apology for making you feel small. Dana held his eyes for a second. That's closer. She walked away. Ryan stood beside his groceries feeling worse than he had when Amelia fired him. At Hart Automotive, Amelia spent the same morning in a conference room with 3 people who wanted Saturday to become old news. Communications had prepared a statement about an employee acting outside procedure. The board chair said, "Do not turn an employment matter into a corporate confession." Amelia almost approved it. Then she opened Dana's service record again. At 9:41 a.m., Ryan Walker had entered repeat road test before release. At 9:52, the status changed from hold to ready. Override. Cal Mercer. Amelia called him in. Why did you remove the hold? Because there was no diagnostic finding. We had a signed suspension inspection, alignment, torque sheet, and a delivery in 11 minutes. Did you drive it? No. Did anyone repeat Ryan's test? Cal paused. Not before the ceremony. Amelia stood. Where is the van? Base 6. Mason checked it Sunday. Nothing obvious. Did he hard brake it the way Ryan did? Cal did not answer. Amelia walked to the service floor. Mason was under the hood of a truck. Take Dana's van out, she said. What am I looking for? Nothing. Drive it cold. Warm it up. Then make one controlled hard stop from 40 if the road is clear. Tell me what you feel. Cal followed them to the door. This is theater in reverse. Amelia watched Mason pull away. Then this time nobody gets a key until the show is over. Mason came back 22 minutes later with both hands locked around the steering wheel. He parked the van inside and shut off the engine. First 15 minutes, nothing, he said. Then one hard stop. Left front clunk. Well, kicked hard enough, I crossed the lane marker before I corrected. Cal's face changed. Amelia asked, could you reproduce it? Not on the second stop. Mason looked at the van. Which is exactly why I don't like it. Would you release it? Cal asked. Mason stared at him. No, they put the van on base 6. Nothing hung loose. No cracked arm. No dramatic failure. Mason checked the obvious points, then loaded the left front suspension. Nothing. He released it and tried again. On the third cycle, a bushing inside the replacement lower control arm assembly shifted a fraction farther than it should have. Mason froze. There. Amelia stepped closer. He lowered the load. The bushing slipped back into place. He raised it again. The sleeve walked under force, then returned. Cal crouched beside him. Again. Mason repeated it. Same movement. That passed static yesterday, Cal said quietly. Because standing still it looks fine. Mason pulled the service history. Wrong sleeve, bad press fit, maybe both. Under a panic stop, the wheel angle changes. Amelia asked the question every non-mechanic in the room needed answered. What does that mean on the road? Mason looked at her. At 40, it pulled me across a lane marker. At 65, if Dana had to stand on the brake with traffic beside her, the van could dart left before she knew why. He pointed at the empty second row. If her kid was back there, the first warning might be the steering wheel trying to leave her hands. Nobody spoke. Amelia looked up at the van suspended above them. Could Ryan have known the part was bad from one stop? No, Mason shook his head. But Ryan heard it at 40 miles an hour. We couldn't see it standing still. Cal stared at the tablet, showing ready. I cleared his hold. Amelia said nothing. Cal added, without repeating the test. For 3 seconds, he looked like a man who understood exactly what he had done. Then his manager instincts came back. One bad assembly does not make this a program failure. Amelia turned. It makes the erased hold a failure. And firing Walker was still justified. He took a key from a recipient and refused a direct order. That is a separate question. Not to the cameras it isn't. There it was. Amelia heard the calculation beneath the sentence. If Ryan remained a story, the company might survive the van. We are checking the other program cars. Cal shook his head. You freeze 23 vehicles over one vendor part. You will create a bigger problem than the one you found. Then help me prove it is only one. The next sample was mechanically sound, but a torque recheck had been closed by management before the technician updated it. Another file showed a repeat road test note changed to ready after a delivery deadline was entered. A fourth was clean. Then an inspector opened the record of a sedan already delivered to a home health aide and found a brake service hold cleared without the second verification requested by the tech. Amelia looked at Cal. Call her. We don't know there is a defect. Call her now. The woman was 30 miles away and had driven the car to work that morning. Hart sent a flatbed and rental immediately. The car later passed its brake inspection, but that no longer comforted Amelia. They had been lucky. Cal watched the tow truck leave and said, "If you tell every family this is a safety recall, the program is finished." Amelia answered, "If we don't tell them why they need to come back, we are doing the same thing again." Across town, Ryan opened an email from Human Resources. 6 weeks of severance. Clean reference. Enough for rent, groceries, Lily's field trip, and time to find another job. The attached statement said his concern had been unverified, his conduct had violated procedure, and he regretted creating the impression Hart knowingly intended to release an unsafe vehicle. Every sentence was technically defensible. That was what made it dangerous. It did not ask Ryan to lie. It asked him to make the truth small enough that his conduct became the whole story. He printed it at the library, folded it into his jacket, and carried it home. The severance packet sat beside Lily's spelling list. Ryan made grilled cheese and cut hers diagonally because she insisted it tasted better that way. She noticed his name at the bottom of the paper. "What's that?" "A way to get paid for a few weeks. Then I can do the field trip?" "Probably. And rent." Ryan looked at her. "You listen too much. You talk on the phone in the kitchen." "Fair enough. Do you get your job back?" "No, what do you have to do?" "Sign this." Lily scanned the page, even though most of it meant nothing to her. "Is it a lie?" "Not exactly." "Then sign it." She said it instantly. 6 weeks of pay sounded like safety. Ryan picked up a pen. "It says I made people think the company knew the van was dangerous." "Did they?" "I don't think they did." "So true." "Yeah." "Did you know it was broken?" "No, also true." Ryan smiled without humor. "You'd be good in human resources." "Is that a job?" He put the pen to the signature line. The first stroke of the R touched the paper before his phone rang. Amelia Hart. Ryan stared at her name, annoyed before he answered. "Walker." Mason reproduced the poll. Ryan stopped breathing for a second. Amelia explained the moving bushing and the risk under hard braking. Ryan looked at the half-written R. "Is Dana okay?" "She never drove it." "I mean Dana." Amelia paused. "Still angry. Still working. She has transportation." "Good. We froze the remaining vehicles." "Remaining?" Ryan sat straighter. "What about the ones already handed out?" "We are bringing them back." "When?" "The calls start tomorrow morning." Ryan's fear turned into anger because anger was easier. "Tomorrow." "Ryan, you had enough time to fire me in 30 seconds, but you need a meeting to call the families?" Lily stopped eating. Amelia's voice hardened. "You do not know what I have been doing since noon. I know what your company did Saturday, and I know what you did to Dana." The sentence landed. Ryan stood. "Don't use her to shut me up." "I'm not. I am reminding you that being right about the van does not make every next thing you say right." Silence. Lily stared at her soup. Ryan hated Amelia for being correct at exactly the wrong moment. "You called to tell me I was right?" "No. I called to tell you the problem is bigger than your van." "Dana's van." "Dana's van." Amelia corrected herself immediately. Ryan looked at the severance paper. "HR sent me 6 weeks to sign away the part where your process failed. I did not approve that language. Your name is on the building." "Yes, which is why I am fixing it." "Because the cameras might come back?" The words were unfair. He knew it as soon as he said them. Amelia went quiet. "We lost a sponsor this afternoon," she said. "The city has been told the program may stop. I ordered a flatbed to pick up a recipient's car before we knew whether anything was wrong with it. If you need me to be the villain tonight, I cannot stop you. But do not confuse your anger with evidence." Ryan closed his eyes. Lily was still watching him. "That was cheap," he said. "Yes." Amelia did not rescue him from it. "I'm sorry." "Good." Another pause. "The money is yours if you sign." Ryan looked at the unfinished R. For 10 full seconds, he almost completed his name. Rent. Field trip. Groceries. Pride had already cost Lily enough. He pressed the pen down, then lifted it. "I can't sign this version. You understand I can't promise another one." "I know." He crossed out the half-written letter until it became a black square. Then he opened a blank document and typed 3 sentences. "I was wrong to humiliate Dana Brooks. I was wrong to make a frightened woman carry a fight that belonged inside the service department. I was not willing to call that van safe, and I will not say I should have." He emailed it with the unsigned agreement. Lily looked at him. "So no money?" Probably no money. That was a bad choice. Ryan nodded. Maybe. She pushed her plate away. I wanted the field trip. I know. She stayed mad at him through dishes and bedtime. Ryan did not ask her to understand. Tuesday morning, Amelia's conference table filled with softer words. Legal wanted complimentary reinspection. Communications wanted proactive quality check. Cal wanted the smallest possible circle. Call back only the cars with overridden holds, he said. Keep Walker's termination separate. One defect, one employee problem, one contained story. Amelia looked at him. You still want Ryan to carry this? I want the company to survive a mistake. Whose? Cal did not answer. Amelia put 11 overridden holds on the screen. How many did you personally verify before changing the status? Not all. How many? He rubbed his face. I don't know. The board chair cut in from the monitor. Amelia, what exactly are you proposing? Every recipient gets called today. Every vehicle comes back for an independent inspection. We provide pickup, rentals, and missed work reimbursement. The program stops until the audit is complete. The city may freeze the partnership. Then they freeze it. Sponsors may walk. Then they walk. Your authority may be reviewed. Then review it. Before legal could answer, Amelia picked up the first recipient file and called the number herself. A man answered from a warehouse break room. When she told him Hart needed his sedan back immediately, he went quiet. My daughter drove that car to her night shift yesterday. Amelia looked through the glass at the service floor. I know. Was she in danger? There was no safe corporate sentence for that question. I don't know. That is why I'm calling before I have a comfortable answer. The man swore, then asked how fast a rental could get there. Within the hour. Amelia made the second call. Then the third. By the fourth, communications slid a prepared script across the table. It began, as part of our commitment to quality. Amelia pushed it back. If someone put their family in one of our cars last night, do not make them listen to an advertisement before we tell them why we are calling. Cal watched a flatbed leave for another recipient's car. This is what panic looks like. Amelia answered, no. This is what late honesty looks like. Dana arrived after a night shift, exhausted and still angry. So Ryan was right. About your van, yes. Dana closed her eyes. I hate that sentence. You're allowed. He apologized yesterday. Before he knew. Amelia looked up. Dana told her Ryan had said he should have stopped the van, but should not have made her feel small while he did it. Then Amelia said, he refused 6 weeks of severance. Dana studied her. Why are you telling me? Because I'm trying to understand him. Stop trying to understand him like he's another problem in your shop. Dana picked up her bag. Decide what you do when being right costs you something. By 3, the city press event was canceled, the sponsorship campaign was suspended, and Cal no longer had release authority while the investigation continued. He stood in Amelia's doorway. This may kill the program. Then we build one that deserves to live. Cal's jaw tightened. And Walker? If you bring him back as a hero, every technician learns that ignoring a manager gets rewarded. Amelia met his eyes. If he comes back, it will be because the rule that failed him changes first. That evening she called Ryan. She did not say, you were right. She said, I brought every car back. Ryan went quiet. All of them. All of them. That's going to hurt. Yes. You still did it. Yes. Amelia looked at Friday's public meeting on her calendar. And Friday I'm telling the recipients exactly why. Ryan said nothing for a moment. Good. You don't have to stand beside me. I wasn't planning to. For the first time, Amelia almost laughed. Fair. Amelia went to Ryan's apartment Wednesday evening without a folder or check. Ryan opened the door before she knocked. Lily counts unfamiliar cars, he said. Useful security system. No agreement. No check. No good. I came to ask you back. No, Amelia exhaled. You could let me finish. Ryan leaned against the railing. If the next mechanic says stop, can a manager erase it because 6 deliveries are waiting? No. A good faith hold stops delivery until an independent second inspection. The manager measured on delivery speed cannot clear it alone. No retaliation. Written. Drafted. Send it. The door opened. Lily looked out. Dad, is this the boss who quit you? Amelia said, I'm the boss who fired him. Lily considered that. That sounds worse. It was. Do you know fractions? Some days. Dad needs help too. Ryan pointed inside. Homework. Lily disappeared. Amelia looked back at him. You were unfair to me on the phone. I know. I had earned some anger. Not that part. Ryan looked at the floor. I'm sorry. Accepted. Amelia said, I can restore your old job today. Ryan shook his head. I don't want my old job. I want the next kid in a navy shirt to stop a car without betting his rent on it. Amelia sent him the draft. One sentence still allowed a service director to clear a hold after management review. Ryan circled it. That is the same hole Cal drove through. Amelia crossed it out herself. Independent inspection only. Now we're talking. The next morning, Ryan met Amelia and Mason before opening. Mason put down his coffee. Saturday, I thought you were performing. Sunday, I checked Dana's van and missed it. Monday, I found it because we repeated your exact stop. He looked at Ryan. If you had handed me the key, I would have handed Dana those keys. Ryan said nothing. I thought competence meant finding the broken part. Sometimes it means knowing you haven't earned the word safe yet. Amelia slid over a job description, final road test, and safety lead. Hourly. Service floor. Written stop delivery authority. Ryan left it on the table. What happens if I say no? The new rule stays. The audit stays. Friday's meeting stays. Only then did he pick up the page. The pay was better, but not absurd. He crossed out a line about public appearances. Not interested. Amelia almost smiled. I assumed. Ryan read the rest. Dana gets a cleared car before anybody announces this. Already the plan. Ryan signed the safety rule first. He waited, then signed the job offer. No cameras were present. Friday afternoon, the service floor was cleared of cars and filled with folding chairs. The same local camera crew returned. No balloons this time. 23 Heart Drives home recipients sat in front. Employees, sponsors, city representatives, board members, and reporters filled the back. Dana sat on the aisle. Ryan stood near Bay 6. Cal sat near the front without his manager badge. Amelia began. No one was injured. That is true. It is also not the standard we promised you. The room went still. Last Saturday, Dana Brooks expected to receive a vehicle we told her had been completely checked. Ryan Walker stopped the delivery. I fired him because he broke procedure, frightened Dana, and could not yet prove his concern. Those facts were true. Another fact was true. His safety hold had been removed without the repeat road test he requested. Amelia explained the fault in one sentence. Under a hard stop, the left front suspension could shift enough to pull the van across a lane. At freeway speed, Dana might have learned that only when she needed the brakes most. Several recipients looked at one another. We checked the rest of the program. We did not find a fleet of dangerous vehicles. We found a dangerous habit. We had started treating delay as failure and completion as proof. Cal looked down. Amelia continued. Cal Mercer approved repeated overrides of technician holds without verifying the requested checks. His employment ends today. Cal stood. I want to answer that. Amelia stepped aside. He faced the room. No one ordered me to erase those holds. I did it. A murmur moved through the chairs. Most of the time the hold turned out to be paperwork, caution, something small. I started believing my experience let me know which doubts mattered before the second check happened. He looked at Dana. Saturday proved I did not know that anymore. Then he looked at Ryan. But I also told myself Walker was the problem because that was easier than admitting I had made his warning disappear. The room stayed quiet. Cal swallowed. I was trying to keep a good program moving. I made the schedule more important than the question I had not answered. I was wrong. He sat down. Amelia took the microphone. Every program vehicle has now received or is receiving an independent reinspection. Families have transportation during that process. The city partnership is suspended. One sponsor has withdrawn. Hart will absorb the cost. A man in the second row raised his hand. He had received a sedan 2 weeks earlier. Mine passed today, so why did I have to bring it back? Amelia answered, because your file was one of the records we could no longer trust. Then somebody signed a promise they didn't earn. Yes. The man looked at Cal. My granddaughter rides in that car. Cal held his gaze. I know. The man shook his head. No. You know it now. I trusted the signature before any of us knew there was a question. He sat down. Nobody in the room needed another explanation of what an overridden hold meant. Mason stood near the back. I checked Dana's van Sunday and missed the defect, he said. If Ryan had handed me the key, I would have handed it to her. That landed harder than any technical explanation. Then she read the new hold rule. It took less than 30 seconds. Finally, she looked toward Ryan. I fired the only man in this building who treated Dana's car like his own daughter might be riding in it. No lead-in. No applause. Ryan kept his eyes on Dana. Amelia continued. He was right to stop the car. He was wrong to make the person he was protecting feel powerless while he did it. Both truths matter. She stepped back. Dana, if you want to speak, you have the floor. If you don't, you owe us nothing. Dana stood. Saturday, I hated him. A nervous laugh flickered and died. Monday, I still wanted him to be wrong. Not because I wanted an unsafe van. Because if Ryan was wrong, the worst thing that happened was one rude man ruined my morning. She looked directly at Ryan. Turns out he was right about the car and wrong about me. I wasn't a package to keep safe. I was a person he should have talked to. Ryan's face tightened. He apologized before anybody proved him right. That matters to me more than this company telling me he was right after. Dana handed back the microphone. For a second, nobody moved. Then Mason clapped once. A few people followed. It never became a standing ovation. Ryan mouthed, "Thank you." Dana nodded. Cal remained seated. Amelia did not smile for the cameras. The room had finally heard the whole story. 3 weeks later, Dana's replacement minivan sat outside Base 6 with no balloons and no camera crew. Ryan had checked it twice. Mason had checked it once independently. Dana arrived after her shift with the same lunch bag from the bus stop. Ryan met her beside the driver's door with the key fob flat in his palm. "I should have stopped your first van," he said. "I shouldn't have made you feel small while I did it." Dana looked at the key. "Safe." "I checked it twice. Once would have been enough." She took the fob. "Before getting in," she said, "tell Lily I made the overtime shift. And tell her I hope she gets the field trip." Ryan frowned. "How do you know about that?" "Amelia asked me what 6 weeks of severance meant to you. I told her not to solve your life with CEO money." Dana nodded toward the shop. "I didn't say mechanics couldn't solve one bus ride." She drove away. Mason appeared with an envelope. Inside was a receipt showing Lily's $78 field trip had been paid in full and a note signed by 21 mechanics. Bad choice or not, the kid gets the bus. Ryan read it twice. "Don't get emotional," Mason said. "It'll ruin morale." "You spelled morale right?" Amelia checked. Of course she did. That evening Ryan put the receipt on the refrigerator beneath the tire-shaped magnet. Lily read the note twice. "So I can go?" "Yeah." Her whole face changed at once. She smiled, grabbed a green marker, and wrote one word across the permission slip. "Going." Ryan left it there. The new job kept him on the service floor, where the hold rule was now simple enough for every technician to repeat without looking at a manual. A few weeks later, after a Saturday community car care event, Amelia walked over while Lily packed her markers into Ryan's pickup. "Dinner?" she asked. Ryan looked at her. "Is that a CEO order?" "No, good." Amelia smiled. "I'm getting better at asking." Lily called from the truck. "Can we get pancakes?" Ryan laughed. "For dinner." "You said choices can be bad, even if you mean good." That sentence is going to haunt me forever. Ryan opened Lily's door and checked her belt. Amelia raised an eyebrow. "Twice." Ryan looked at the buckle, then at her. "Once is enough." He shut the door, walked around to the driver's side, and started the engine.